Welcome to Line Trading, going over Friday's SPY recap and analysis before taking a look at what to be watching Monday and into next week. A very big week coming up with lots going on in terms of news, and will be lots of volatility in the SPY. Here on Friday morning, I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members that you had to be paying attention to the purple buying continuation that we have been in, and there is no reason to be shorting it unless we see the structure to do so. So right here, if you were looking to short it, right, we needed to see us form that head and shoulder, grab this liquidity if we were going to head back down on Friday if there was some sort of surprise sell-off, which we never did. Like I also drew, there may be some continuation from this inverse head and shoulder right here, and you see how we have this dip in the morning, and from there we make our way up to 562, but throughout the rest of the day, we are never able to really form a larger structure and get this continuation. Now we can see that there is some sort of resistance right here at 563 and may have a possible tapering. We tried to form this inverse cup, but we were unable to break out of this handle right here, and we will talk about more of this later and what this can mean going into Monday and next week. So now taking a look at the 1-minute chart from Friday, going over the microstructure and algorithms here in the morning, we have this initial move up off of this green algorithm right here, and from here we see the yellow and blue controlled selling right there with that inverse head and shoulder. Once again, we see this blue and yellow controlled selling right there with that inverse head and shoulder. Now, as I explained right here, you had to be paying attention for consumer sentiment at 10 a.m., which gave us this nasty candle right here, sweeping both sides. But you also had to pay attention to, if you were looking to short this, I explained to watch for this head and shoulder, allow that to form right here, this inverse cup. Maybe we see, right, a handle, and from there retest those lows and so on. Now we had this move up right here off that inverse head and shoulder, but we can see how we have this liquidity and we have this white tapering right here from this initial green, right? And from there is that head and shoulder. You could have taken it right here as well, but I was waiting for this larger inverse cup to close, which it did. We see at that level. And when it came time for this handle, we never formed it for that move to break low of day, excuse me. So with the lack of that handle, no reason to be shorting, and we get this V pattern back up to close the cup at this level right here. But when it is time to form this handle with blue and yellow, it takes quite some time, but finally you see that inverse head and shoulder as well as that cup. Now, this is just not really a good trade, not really the trade you want to be taking with this tapering right here and this breakout of high of day, especially after this low volume chop right here. It is better to just be waiting for that move I explained right here. If you see this head and shoulder, can take that to the downside, right? If we saw this cup close back at this level, we could look for something like that. Now at this point right here, we start to see this head and shoulder forming. We see that inverse cup and handle. I did not get in quite yet. I am still looking for this cup to close right here, or this larger one. So once we had this cup close, I explained, right, to be looking for this handle, which we did not get. Now with this here as well, I was explaining on the 30-minute chart, we needed to see this head and shoulder starting to form right there. And if we wanted to head down, maybe a end of day sell-off right there, but we are still in the process of trying to form that right here. We have that inverse cup and handle. We just ran out of time and were never able to see this closing. Now, even though we did not form this handle right here and see that inverse cup and handle work out quite yet, I explained that if we needed more time to complete this structure, we could still see it and it would be allowed. You see how we're trying to form this larger head and shoulder right there, as well as this larger cup. But when it came time to breaking down at this level once again, right, we close that inverse cup, close it again, no handle here, and then right here, this handle is a beautiful head and shoulder setup we just do not get that continuation. So as I was explaining, with no continuation below this level right here, you can see that we never formed that handle I explained to be watching for, as well as right here with this larger inverse cup. Once again, if we wanted to see that move below, we needed to see us lose that level, and we did right here with this head and shoulder. But towards the end of the day, we just did not have enough volume. Even with that beautiful setup right here, you can see what we are given with those two red candles, and then from there we start to form this inverse head and shoulder. Now this was actually the trade that I took for the day, my only one. Now that only trade right here was a loss on the day, as you can see, and I'm going to kind of talk about why this did not follow through right here and why it was maybe potentially not the best trade, but I'm also okay with taking the trade as well because I minimized my risks, right? Protecting aggressively right here because I know this is an area where we might hold. Once again, we can see that it is a strong support, so there's no reason to be risking a ton right here, praying, hoping, any of that stuff, right? But this is a good setup right here with this inverse cup and handle and that head and shoulder. We even do get some follow through, just not what I was looking for, being that dump to potentially low of day. Now, when this started to not break down right here and we see this inverse head and shoulder forming, I started to protect more of my position, but I did leave some on in the case that we took some more time right here and then formed it right there, and we saw some sort of candle like this that was too quick to get back involved. So I was in the position where I did have to risk a little bit, and if it did not work out for me, I would still be okay, but I was giving myself that opportunity for a very nice move down. And the reason that it just did not follow through is we just do not have enough volume here at the end of the day to break through that level. You can see that we are just remained within this range right here. We do not have anything to break us down and start grabbing that liquidity. But now it's time to go over what to be watching on Monday and into next week. So as many of you know, we have the interest rate decision on Wednesday with Powell, and that is going to be the event everyone is waiting on. We currently have a 50-50 on whether it is going to be a 50 basis point or 25 basis point cut. So we will see what that brings for the market. Now, I'm not going to really talk too much about what to be looking for in terms of the decision, but in terms of the structure, I'm going to explain how things can play out and what to be watching for throughout the week and then the day of. So here on Monday, we have reached a pretty decent resistance area near this 562, 563, and we are starting to form what looks like a possible head and shoulder, right? This inverse cup and handle, and we do have liquidity on the way down right here. So if we do start selling off Monday and Tuesday, possibly into the meeting, right, you can look for these inverse cups to form right here, grabbing that liquidity on the way down, and ultimately want to see this 20-day moving average be lost with an inverse cup to it, and from there some sort of handle and head and shoulder if we are to dump below that 20-day moving average. Now if we don't dump quite yet, continue watching this yellow and blue algorithm right here in the case that we are still trying to make a possible attempt for these highs right here, and you see that inverse head and shoulder. Maybe we break out through these all-time highs and it is a fake out, and then you have something that starts to form like this with that tapering, and from there you see that inverse cup grabbing this liquidity on the way down right there. To zoom out some more, you can see that we are forming this cup right here, and if we need to form a larger handle right here, this is possible, and say that we do have a sell-off, right? We start moving down right here back to near this 20-day moving average, and then into the meeting we start to see us grab that liquidity and break out of those all-time highs for a huge push, or we start pushing out right once again and there is a reversal, and you see something like that start to form. So a lot of possibilities and things to be watching for, but you just have to be nimble and understand that you cannot have a bias this week. It does not matter what you think or what you feel, even if you are sure that this breakout it's the one. You never know. You have to protect, you have to understand that things can change. Now, I will talk about this more on the daily chart in just a minute, but in the case that we do start heading down, we see that these 5 and 20-day moving averages are coming close together once again. So if we do want to have a larger dump right here, remember we have all this liquidity right here. We were unable to break below this level. If we do start heading down, look for this to form, the 5 and 20 to become resistance, and from there, maybe with something on Wednesday, maybe we do grab that and continue heading down, forming this larger inverse cup, maybe something more aggressive like that. Like I said, you never know, just have to understand what can form here and what to be watching for. So now here on the daily chart, going over the longer term trend, we can see that this 5 is now about to cross back above this 20-day moving average, and when that happens, it is bullish. You see right here, 5 crosses above the 20, we get this move to the upside. Right here as well, we see this 5 cross above this 20, get this move to upper Bollinger, and see the uptrend from there. Now, what we also have to pay attention to here is those all-time highs that I've been talking about, right? If we do see this fail right here and start to head down and then require some sort of handle off of this cup before we head back up right here, that is within reason. Or maybe we do see, right, a push above those all-time highs and it is some sort of fake out, and then we start heading down, start building support off those moving averages, then we get that move, or we fall back below the moving averages and start that downtrend once again. So all that being said, there is a lot to watch this week. One of those weeks where you really cannot have any bias. You need to be on top of your game. There's going to be a lot of noise, but you have to see through it, see through the structure, and understand what you are actually looking for. No need to be chasing anything. Let it come to you. But thank you everyone for watching. I will see members Monday morning. Have a good rest of your weekend.